One golfer was forced to play after losing his best friend.
He's thinking of his father and how much his father would have loved to have been here.
Another golfer lost his own life.
The golf world is mourning the death of U.S. Open champion Payne Stewart and 5 others.
These are the 10 most emotional moments in golf history. And the first one is just pure raw emotion. Bubba Watson is one of the most loved golfers in the world. And while he is a brilliant golfer, he could never quite win a major tournament. He often came close, but victory seemed to be just out of reach. But that was until 2012. This was an especially tough period for Bubba because his father was battling cancer. But always the professional, Watson played the 2012 Masters like a star, and he narrowly beat runner-up Lois Oosthuizen to clinch the Masters champion. Bubba spent several minutes hugging his caddy, his mother, and even the other players as the crowd went wild. This all led to a tearful post-match interview that cannot be forgotten as Bubba dedicated his win to his late father.
I just gotta say thanks to my mom and dad. Without them, I'm nothing. You know, my dad's battling cancer right now. Dad, I'm praying for you. I love you.
After this, Watson went on to win another Masters and 12 PGA tournaments, reaching a peak of second in the official world golf ranking, meaning despite the heartache, he was still able to push on to glory. But Bubba was not the only golfer to be overcome by emotions after a win, because this next one takes it to a whole new level. Now, the legendary Tiger Woods has his fair share of controversy, but this one was a lot more personal because Tiger was extremely close to his father, Earl, who was a military veteran having served 2 tours in South Vietnam. He rose to the rank of lieutenant colonel before retiring from the military, and most importantly, he introduced Tiger to the world of golf before the age of 2. Woods Sr. was Tiger's biggest fan, coaching and mentoring him for many years, and this led to an incredible bond between father and son. Woods turned pro at 20. In his first year, he won numerous matches and reached the first position in the official world golf ranking before the year was even up. And given the strength of the bond between father and son, Tiger was obviously shattered by the death of his father in May. So, with the Royal Liverpool Open Championship being the first major tournament since the recent passing of Woods Sr., it should have halted Tiger, but nothing was going to stop him. Tiger led from the start and won by 2 strokes and managed to keep it all together until his victory. But that's when the emotions got the better of him. He embraced his caddy, Steve William, and the tears started to flood.
Finish for Tiger Woods.
Yeah, and now the relief.
Tiger Woods is the 135th Open champion. He is the champion golfer of the year. And there's emotion there because I'm sure he's thinking of his father and how much his father would have loved to have been here and see him winning in this way.
But whilst Tiger was battling with the loss of one family member, Phil Mickelson had it so much worse as both his wife and his mother were battling cancer at the same time. This was happening during the 2010 Masters, and Phil's closest rival was none other than Tiger Woods. This was a hotly contested tournament where several players took turns in the lead, but despite the clear challenge and the severe emotional strain, Phil pulled off an impressive win-in. And when he did, he gave his wife a gleeful hug, and the crowd just loved it.
Now to close with a birdie.
That's a win for the family.
But not all emotional moments have to be about tragedy, because number 7 is a display of pure, raw passion. Because at the hallowed St. Andrews in 1984, Seve Ballesteros was up against 2 formidable players, Tom Watson, who was the defending champion, and Bernhard Langer. And to make matters worse, Seve had not had a major win all season, although he came close to a few. But this match was to be a memorable turning point in his career as a professional golfer. Many eyes were on rival contenders. Nick Faldo and Greg Norman, and Tom Watson also had his aim at a win, as his victory would have been a historic moment. But while the tournament had many ups and downs, the best golfer of the day took the title, and what a victory it was. The duel on the back nine was nail-biting for players and fans alike. Ballesteros faced a tricky uphill approach shot off the hard drive fairway, which he struck perfectly. His final putt concluded his victory, and the spectators went wild. Seve did a few fist pumps in the air, but the look on his face was so memorable, and now his birdie putt on the 18th goes down in golfing history as one of the most memorable moments of all time. And he went on to win the coveted title, and the excitement was palpable. The sheer delight on his face as he won his second Open, and Golfer of the Year says it all. But now at number 6?
Oh my!
It was the 1999 Ryder Cup played at the country club Brookline, Massachusetts, and it was soon given the title of the Battle of Brookline. And what a fierce battle it was. With the lead team changing several times during the grueling match, and the US team was mainly on the back foot. Team USA had not won for 2 years, so the pressure was on. Ben Crenshaw was the team captain for the States, but the European team was on form. The pressure was on all players as the scores were neck and neck toward the end, but somehow USA won, and this win was ultimately due to an incredible 45-foot birdie putt by Justin Leonard.
Matches are over.
This looks good. Oh my!
And after this happened, it was a wild outburst from teammates, caddies, family, and fans in a display rarely seen in this sport. The celebrations continued, but Jose Maria Olazabal still had his putt to make. Fortunately for Team USA, his putt did not change the results, and they reigned victorious. But sadly, after the previous victory, one of the key American players would face one of the worst tragedies in golf history. This is Payne Stewart, and he celebrated an astounding win at the 1999 US Open Pinehurst, whilst also being a key part of the US team that won the 1999 Ryder Cup in the previous clip. But sadly, in the same year, he died in a horrific plane crash in his private jet. He was on his way to the last game of the season in Houston with at least 4 others on board when the plane had a sudden loss of cabin pressure, depriving the occupants of oxygen. The autopilot feature kicked in, but it was too late for those on board. It flew for more than an hour, only for it to plummet into a field when the fuel ran out, and sadly, there were no survivors. This was a sad loss for his family and the golfing community, as Payne was a standout player loved by many. But it's not always players' passings that get the golf world emotional, because Ben Crenshaw lost his longtime coach, Harvey Pinnock. It was the 1995 Masters, and the day after being a pallbearer at Pinnock's funeral, Crenshaw had to tee off for his opening round. He started off well, but despite the grief and pain he felt, he continued the tournament in top form as he proudly went on to win, making that a true tribute to his friend and mentor. After sinking his final short putt that assured him the victory, he collapsed with emotion, shedding tears of grief and joy, and with the crowd aware of the circumstances, they gave him a resounding ovation.
Ben Crenshaw has won the Masters for a second time.
This was Ben's second win at the Masters, and the timing could not have been more significant. Pinnock was a golfing legend in his own right and coached many of the top players, but his bond with Crenshaw was extremely significant because, according to reports, he was still giving Ben lessons from his deathbed. For many golf fans, it is one of the most enduring memories of emotion in the sport. But now moving on to number 3, while not fatal, this shot was disastrous for the player as well as the eager spectators, to the point that it might even be called the worst shot in the history of the sport. Because Tom Kite hit his tee shot directly into the crowd just in front of him.
Was too much. Back to 11. Oh, it looked like a Gerald Ford shot. It definitely was. That hit somebody down there. There may be somebody hurt. That's only about 100 yards in front of the tee, right by the cart path.
This could have been seriously dangerous, but luckily, it appeared no one was hurt except maybe Kite's ego must have taken a bit of a beating. Tom certainly looked pained after he realized what he had done, because this could have ended in tragedy. But what if I told you 2 top professionals nearly got into a fistfight on live TV? Well, things are about to get really heated in this next exchange, and emotions were running full blast. There is a reason professional golf tournaments have officials, referees if you want. The rules are complex, and certain ones are open to interpretation. When the stakes are as high as they are on the professional circuit, one stroke can make the difference between winning or losing. And we are talking about millions of dollars here, plus the all-important reputation and ranking of the individual. So with all this at stake, Keegan Bradley and Miguel Angel Jimenez found themselves in a heated dispute at the Cadillac Match Play tournament. The issue surrounded the application of the 2 club length drop rule. While Keegan did not need advice from Miguel, it certainly did not help when Bradley's caddy involved himself in the altercation, because as Bradley naturally stood up for his caddy, it only added fuel to the fire.
Jimenez had his drive hit about 40 on the left side in the rough. He walked all the way back while the rules official and Keegan Bradley were discussing it a couple of times, and then Miguel Angel Jimenez interjected and said he wanted to remind him that he needed to take 2 club legs and then drop the ball. That's when Steve Hale, Pepsi, as he is known on the PGA Tour, the caddy for Keegan Bradley, said something to Miguel Angel Jimenez. Miguel Angel Jimenez then told Pepsi to shut up.
Tempers flared, and you do not need to be a body language expert to see the tension in this encounter. The two golfers made a poor performance in reconciling after the game, but the dispute sadly continued. And if you are wondering, Miguel won the hole as well as the match. But after all that tragedy, conflict, and tension, number 1 is a perfect example of when the leading players can win the hearts of the world, because Bryson DeChambeau made a little boy's dreams come true. Now, the American star certainly has his quirks and eccentricities. He is best known for unusual club designs and his super far drives off the tee, but whether you love him or hate him, this story warmed the hearts of many fans. It was the final round, and Bryson was 2 strokes behind Xander Schauffele and heading off to the 10th hole at the 2024 PGA Championship, when as a pleasurable gesture, DeChambeau tossed his golf ball to a young fan standing just behind the barriers. But out of nowhere, an adult man swooped in and claimed the ball for himself, but Bryson was having none of it, as he turned around to confront the man and the gallery went silent. DeChambeau called out loudly and repeatedly, pointing at the villain with his putter, until the man somewhat timidly walked back and returned the ball to the young chap it was meant for.
Get that ball back! Man for the people.
This made the lads' day, and the crowd went wild. Damn, these really made me emotional. But if you want to make me even more emotional, you should subscribe.